Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is June the 23rd. Today's show will be for tomorrow's game in the WNBA. I think it's 4 games tomorrow in the W. So we'll go through those games. As we always do, we'll jump into a quick recap. We'll see what jaXon likes as well. We'll go through, see what jaXon likes as well. And let's just jump right into it. Yesterday was a good day, man. I ended up making 5 bets altogether. There was 3 on the show that I shared yesterday. Those 3 went 2-1 with the Indiana Fever losing to the Las Vegas Aces, even though they came out looking really, really good. And then Chicago Washington went over to 160. I think it was 163.5, 164.5. Either way, they went over a little bit right before overtime. Seattle ended up getting an outright win with Sabrina Ionescu also, missing in that game. Atlanta minus the 9 was a live bet that we made at halftime. Chicago team total was also a live bet that we made at halftime. So 4-1 day. I needed it. I need to have a couple more 4-1 days as well. Hopefully we can kind of keep it going. I did make I think I made 4 bets for tomorrow as well. So hopefully we can just kind of keep trending in that direction, man. Hopefully things can continue to look good. I feel like the bigger slates present a lot more value, and I've been a lot more profitable. So hopefully that will continue here. Let's go through a couple comments real quick. Gina says, "What's up, Chris and chat? Went 2-2 in the WNBA last night. Cashed the Dallas and Washington over. Yeah, we got 163 and the Storm +4. Love it. Lost Angel Reese under her 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists in the Fever money line. I would have thought Angel Reese would have went under 2, but she did not. Okay day in the W, less cash for tomorrow. Absolutely. Gina says, why is Atlanta not involving BG in the offense? She's not even there. She's actually not that good, Gina. BG, I know she started the season off really well. I was looking at BG numbers for tomorrow, and the only reason I can't play her unders is because she's playing against Dallas. But she's been involved. I feel like she's just not scoring. I watched a little bit of that game, specifically the second half, because we had the 2 live bets. But she has not been great in my opinion. What's up, Big Mar? Prolific says, what's up, Chris? So the Liberty are a fade now. The Liberty are still good, but they're missing 60% of their starting lineup. No Sabrina yesterday, no Jacqueline Jones. She's gonna be out for 4 to 6 weeks. The only Phoebus is playing Euro basketball. That's a lot to ask some of the role players. And we know a team like the New York Liberty, they got a lot of cap space in their starting lineup. So, you're going to need some of those bench players like a Maureen Johannes and even a Natasha Cloud to step up and play big to go along with Stewie. Sably, Burt, they're going to have to step up for sure. Let's see. Prolific says, what secrets you going to whisper today? I was laughing the whole time. What did I whisper? I was whispering about Seattle. About how they shoot the 3 really well, and that was a winner. So shout out to Seattle for getting the job done. Aces was money yesterday though, James. Glad you cashed that. Rick says, "How you doing, Chris?" Super hot in Albemarle County. Super hot. What up, Mark? Appreciate you for tapping in. Says nice day yesterday. Thanks for the pics. Yeah, let's see if we can keep it going for tomorrow as well. Let's jump into it for tomorrow. So first up, we'll start with jaXon. Just double check real quick. Yesterday, jaXon had two bets that it liked, and they were same game. Ryan Howard over her 9.5 rebounds and assists in that Atlanta and Chicago game. And I just want to double check really quickly because I didn't look to double check it to see if how accurate jaXon was yesterday. So Ryan Howard over 9.5 was a loser. She finished with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And then Angel Reese under her 22.5 points and rebounds was a loser because she had 19 rebounds. So Atlanta, one of the better rebounding teams in the WNBA, they got absolutely dominated on the glass yesterday. Angel Reese had half of the 38 rebounds that they had as a team, and they also finished with 7 offensive rebounds. But it was about tie, so it was just a lot of missed shots in general. But yeah, so 0-2 night from jaXon yesterday. The player props I feel like haven't been hitting as much. So I went to a total bet for today. I asked jaXon what was the best WNBA total for tomorrow, and jaXon says that it likes the over between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm. It says the Seattle Storm have been. Let me just feel like this is a little big. All right, yeah, let's do that. All right, so it says the over between Fever and Seattle up at 166 tomorrow. Minus 110 on DraftKings. The Seattle Storm have been on an offensive tear, averaging 89 points per game, 89 or more in 5 of their last 6 games. The defense has also been solid, but the Fever's offensive unit, led by Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, has potential to breach the Storm's defense. Despite Clark's recent shooting struggles, which she has been struggling, her ability to bounce back is well documented. This game has the makings of a high-scoring affair, with both teams capable of pushing the total past 166. So jaXon likes over in that game tomorrow between Indiana and Seattle. And I thought about it long and hard. I couldn't quite get there, but it does make a lot of sense to play over in that game. Yeah, so I'll just give you guys that one as far as the one thing for jaXon for tomorrow. Let's jump into the games, man. So first up, try to make it a little bit of a short show since I already went like kind of deep, did a deep dive on all these games. So this first one, let's double check the line real quick. Some of these may have changed. I put these in a little bit earlier. Atlanta will be on the road taking on the Dallas Wings tomorrow. And this line is now up to 9. So the Wings are getting 9 points as a home dog. And the total, as I expected, is up to 169. This was the one game that I didn't bet though. One thing I wanted to make sure of, which is, let me just double check, see real quick, see if we got any updated injury news. So Lexi Brown is questionable. Duana Bonner continues to be out. Cardosa will temporarily step away from the team. For overseas commitment, yeah, they're getting smoked. Odyssey Sims is ruled out. Dejanay is ruled doubtful for tomorrow as well. Nafisha Collier listed as questionable. Jessica Shepard not on the injury report, so she should be back for the Lynx tomorrow. And that should definitely help. She should be back active tomorrow, and that's all the injury report for tomorrow. So take that with a grain of salt as we look through these games. So Dejanay is officially listed as doubtful with the rib injury. That may be the reason why this line has moved a little bit. I would think with Dejanay not on the floor, the Dallas Wings would struggle defensively a little bit more. She is their best perimeter defensive player. They did play really, really well against the Washington Mystics just the other day. They are coming off an overtime game though. So Atlanta's been playing with their food a little bit in their recent games. They are 5-2 against the spread on the road so far this season. 9-5 against the spread on the full season. And that's even after not covering the full game against Chicago yesterday. And then the game before yesterday, they also didn't cover. I forgot who they were playing against, but back-to-back non-covers for the Atlanta Dream. Dallas has been playing a little bit better, man. It's hard for me to want to fade them. I know Dejanay Carrington is, not going to be a part of this game now, but I think it's Dallas is not good at home. I get that. They're just 1-5 straight up and against the spread, but I saw them fight tooth and nail against the Mystics yesterday. And I know that they're coming off an overtime game. I know Atlanta has a chance to run it up on them, but I think with Paige Becker's back in the game, I can see the Wings kind of keeping this one close. Closer than double digits, even without Dejanay being there. They just have I like Uruf off the I think she's coming off the bench. You are going to need a little bit more from Misha Hans Allen. She I think she was a minus 24 against the Mystics yesterday. So you're gonna need a little bit more, but we got to remember these two teams just play in Atlanta, and Atlanta only won that game by 8 points. So that was, I think, Paige, one of her first games coming back as well from the concussion. She got benched in the game, didn't play much at all. So yeah, I think the total is a tad bit too high, even though both of these teams can't score. I think about the Wings, I think about no defense, I think about the Dream, I think about offense in the second half specifically. So I think I didn't play the game, but what I wrote in my notes was I couldn't get there on the over because the Wings are coming off an overtime game. Typically, teams don't score as many points, and it could be an offensive letdown. The Atlanta Dream are also the second best defensive rated team in the WNBA, even though they played in 3 straight overs. So this is one where I'll probably look for a live line on Atlanta or live line on the total. If they come out sluggish and I can get a total that's like 164, 165, then I'll bet that live. Potentially at halftime is typically when I place all my live bets. But yeah, I couldn't quite get there and laid at 8.5. So I definitely don't want the 9, even if DiJonai's not going to be there. I think Dallas will continue to fight. I like what I'm seeing from Dallas, even though they didn't win the last game. They did cover though. I don't want to lay 9 points with Atlanta. Atlanta also got a big game coming up. I think they play against the who does Atlanta play against next? I was looking at it earlier. I forgot to write it down. Atlanta plays against they play Minnesota. Yeah, I knew it was a big opponent. They play Minnesota to end the week a little bit later. So yeah, I didn't play the game. I do want to share with you guys a player prop that I'm looking at though. This in my opinion just makes a ton of sense. So we'll travel over to Outlier really quickly and look at we'll look at Enrique. I like Enrique in this game. Don't really like it as much if DiJonai's not gonna be in there because DiJonai, is a scorer. But I want to play on Enrique under. Oh, let's just hold on. I got this set from yesterday. Let's just reset this real quick. So Enrique Agumbawale of the Dallas Wings. I want to play Enrique under. So a points prop, 16.5. It was juiced to the under when I looked earlier today. Let's see. Yeah, looks like no vig. You can get a under 16.5 at even. So that's what I would play. I think, just looking through these games here for Enrique, she's been extremely inconsistent. You can see the red and the green. She hasn't scored more than 15 points in any of the games that she's after scoring 20 points or more. So you can see to start the season. Let's just go here. So you can see to start the season here against Minnesota, two couple duds. She got 21. She went back down to 5. She got the 19. She scored 37. Granted, these games were against Connecticut and Chicago, two of the worst defensive teams in the WNBA. Another 26-point game, back down to 10, and then 26. And she ended up getting to 19 against the Golden State Valkyries. So you could say she's in form. I think that this is a nice base spot for Enrique Agumbawale. The other thing is Atlanta, number 1 spot up defense in the WNBA, and number 2 and above the break 3-point defense as well. And Enrique gets more than a fourth of her points via the spot up shot because she shoots a lot of 3-pointers, of course. So I like Enrique Agumbawale under her 16.5 points tomorrow as well. I think that would probably be my favorite bet in this game. Probably just staying away from the side and the spread. I'm expecting Atlanta to come out a little sluggish because they have been recently. I don't even think they were winning at halftime at home the other day against the Chicago Sky, and the Chicago Sky won the second leg of a back-to-back. So that scares me a little bit. We want to lay a big number with Atlanta. I know that they can win the game. They can win by double digits, but they've already beaten this team. And if they came out a little slow and sluggish, it wouldn't surprise me. So I lean Wings plus the points, and I think the total is about right. So not going to play the total. Let's see if you guys have any thoughts on this one. Prolific says Atlanta Dallas over. Yeah, I thought that too, but I didn't get it. It was the best of the numbers has been gone now. It's like 160, 166.5 is what I saw. It might have even been lower than that. Mark says he got Atlanta minus 6.5, so you got a much better number. Bet at your own risk says what's good, Chris in chat. Glad that my Thunder got that ring last night. Now hopefully we can get some wins in the W for the rest of the season. Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to the Thunder. They did get the job done yesterday. You hate to see that happen to Tyrese Halliburton. It's tough. James says Cardoso will play versus the Sparks though. Is that what the report says? Let's see. I should have probably looked at these before. After tomorrow's game. You're right, James. Appreciate you. After tomorrow's game. And we'll talk about that game in just a second. Let's see. It's dropped down low to 7 now. I'll pass. Yeah, I don't want it either. DiJonai been flying in for rebounds like crazy. She has. DiJonai is a offensive rebounds a dad. She's been like really good offensive rebounding the basketball. That's a fact. Prolific. Patience does pay for sure. Glad you mentioned this, Argina. I'm so glad you mentioned this. I need to probably look at the plays because I totally did play the money line here. Glad you mentioned this. My fault. So let's go to the looks that I have here. So Skylar Diggins. Well, I parlayed the Atlanta Dream money line earlier. I don't even know what the single leg was, the price for the single leg, but I just wanted it to reduce some juice. So I did. This is the last play I added. I forgot. I'm glad you mentioned this, Cedric. So I parlayed Atlanta money line, which I don't really parlay too often, but I parlay Atlanta money line with Skylar Diggins under her 6.5 assists, which I'll talk about Skylar Diggins' assists right now. So Skylar Diggins, of course, is just all world right now, but it's more so offensively. She's scoring the basketball for the Seattle Storm. I think I was looking at her game log, and she had like 5 or 6 games where she scored like 17 points or more. She's shooting the ball at least 14, 15 times a game. Her assists have actually gone under. So she's under 7 assists, which her line's at 6.5 tomorrow in 8 of her 10 games this season. Indiana talked about this last game. Chelsea Gray had 3 assists yesterday. Indiana in general, best team in the WNBA as far as allowing assists. Point guards against Indiana are hitting 27% of the season so far to the over on their assist line, meaning they're coming in at a whopping 73%, 4 for 15 to the over, 9 of 15 to 9 to 4 to the under so far. So yeah, I did parlay that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Not a big parlay guy, but like I said, Diggins under her 6.5 assists. The best line was minus 155. I wanted to reduce some juice, so I added Atlanta money line plus 105 for me, 1 unit bet for tomorrow. And then Atlanta, like I said, I think they can win the game. They can't win it by double digits. I'm not sure if they're gonna play around with their food, though. I do expect them to win the game with the spread going up and DiJonai being out, potentially being out in this game. That's even more reason, to at least think Atlanta's gonna be able to win this game. Dallas has won just 1 home game in 6 tries, and they're coming off the overtime game in DC. I think they'll be able to score the basketball again against this Dallas Wings team and keep it going, at least to win the game. So DiJonai under. I'm sorry, not DiJonai. Skylar Diggins Smith under her 6.5 assists in Atlanta Dream on the money line. That's what I played. Definitely not a best bet on the Atlanta money line unless you add it with something else. But that's what I did with this game. I'm sorry I missed that. But yeah, I did play that. That was the last play that I made. All right, so Washington and Minnesota is up next. This game will be played in DC. Line has come down now to 5.5. So some money has come in on the Washington Mystics in this spot, and I think that correlates with potentially no Nafisha Collier, right? Listed as questionable with the back injury. She did not play in the last game. That was the first game that she missed because of the back injury. And I don't know. I think the Mystics may continue to rest DiJonai, honestly. Maybe they'll let her play, 1 or 2 games. After this game, I think Minnesota has 1 more road game. And then I think they go back home to play against Connecticut before the Commissioner's Cup, which will be next week. So let's just double check that real quick. So yeah, they play in Atlanta after this game. So they play in Atlanta, then they go back home and they got Connecticut, and then they play Indiana. So in my estimation, I know that the Lynx probably feel like they want to win everything. They probably want to win the Commissioner's Cup. They probably want to win the actual championship. So it wouldn't surprise me if Nafisha Collier rested again in this game. I think looking at this Mystics team that's coming off overtime, they're not a great offensive team. I think that they could potentially struggle in this spot to score the basketball. We got to remember the Minnesota Lynx are the best defensive rated team in the WNBA. So the way I chose to play the game, and let's just double check the line real quick. I think it's actually you can get a better line than I should have. Maybe I should have waited for this one. Yeah, I probably should have waited. So what I ended up playing was I played the Minnesota team total over. First, I considered the under just because 5 of the last 7 between these two teams have stayed under the total. But I think the more I looked into it, the more I saw that Minnesota, they're scoring the basketball, specifically on the road. I thought the team total at 83.5 was a little bit too low. This Minnesota Lynx team is the most efficient team in the WNBA on the full season. And in the last 5 games, they don't turn the ball over, 3rd best in turnover rate. The Mystics don't force a lot of turnovers anyway. Minnesota is also 3-1 to their team total over this season when they are a single-digit favorite, 4-1-1 to the over overall when they're on the road. And they're averaging north of 86 points. So I think that they could potentially, get to 90. I think when I think about the Mystics and I think about the under, especially with a total this low, it scares me and makes me think that the Mystics are probably going to try to push pace to not play against this Minnesota Lynx defense in the half court, which is why I think that the Minnesota Lynx going to be able to get out and run in this game. Washington is giving up an average of 85 points per game as well as a home dog. So I think when the Mystics play against really good offensive teams, their defense doesn't look as great. When they play against teams that struggle on the offensive end, like a Chicago Sky or even like a Dallas Wings at times, their defense can look pretty good. I expect Minnesota to be able to shoot the leather off the basketball in this game. The Washington Mystics are one of the worst three-point defensive teams in the WNBA. Minnesota is the best three-point shooting team, specifically from the above the break three. So I did play to watch the Minnesota Lynx team total up and over. Probably should have waited on the Fisher Call Your News because 82.5 is available right now, but I played team total over 83 to stay away from the spread. I do think that points will be scored in this game. I think Minnesota should be able to score the basketball. And as far as player props in this one, the line wasn't available when I was looking earlier. But if I think that Minnesota is going to be able to score the ball from the three-point line, then I also think that Kayla McBride threes are absolutely, something that has to be considered. I didn't bet them because they weren't available, but it looks like she's listed at 2.5. And I'll just bring up her box score real quick so you guys can. I'll bring up her game log so you can see it real quick. But Kayla McBuckets has been absolute money this season from the three-point line. So if we look at this season, she's over in 6 of 9 games. You can see that 5 threes against the Sparks, 0-0 against the Aces and the Sparks in this game. But yeah, I mean, Kayla McBride. Whenever you can get Kayla McBride, I think. You just take her. Look, you can see here she's shooting 44% from the three-point line. After 2 dud games where she went 0 for 7 and 0 for 5, she bounced back by hitting 5. She's also hit 5, 6, 3. So when she goes over, it's automatically 3 or more: 3, 6, 5, and 5. So I like Kayla McBride, especially if Nafisha Collier doesn't play. I didn't bet this because, like I said, it wasn't available earlier, but it was something that I put in my notes. So that's how I kind of see that game. I think that Minnesota can win. I think they can cover the spread. But just to stay away from it, I'll take their team total, thinking that they can get to 85, 86 points in this game against the Mystics. So that's my thought process in this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Yes, on Bet365. The Skylar Diggins under her 6.5 assists, and they had the best number. That's why I parlayed it there. They had -155. All the other books had -160, -164. So that was Skylar Diggins, and the money line for the Atlanta Dream in the last game. Let's see what else y'all seeing here. Montez says he thinks Fee is going to play. I would love for Fee to play. I would actually want to be at the game if he was going to play, but with the injury report like this, it's kind of feel like the NBA game. Like, I can't do it. Cannot do it. Mel says Washington plus money for the back end cover. Potentially. I don't think so. Not with the spread going down. I think Minnesota is the second best team on the road so far this season. They got one road loss. They lost in Seattle. So I mean, Minnesota is like, especially third quarter, like they get right in the third quarter. So I don't know if it'll be a backdoor cover this time, Mel, just because the Mystics are coming off an overtime game. I think their starters play heavy minutes. They do got a pretty deep bench though. Chicago says he's playing Washington for the upset. Best of luck to you, my brother. FYI says Atlanta back to 7.5. Are they? Let's see. They are back to 7. I see a 7 on FanDuel, but I also see a 9 on Bet365. So the number is kind of all over the place. You can get whatever it is that you want, man. Nice little middle right there. Nice little middle right there. If you wanted to, play it both ways. Chad says he took Mystics plus 7.5. What's up, Niley? She said, hi, Chris. The Lynx are official. I laid it 5.5. Maybe Mystics on the spread for the first half. Lynx start slow, and that's a fact. They absolutely do. I think the Lynx can win this game by 5, even without Nafisha Collier. The one thing that scares me just a little bit is that the Lynx, kind of like the Liberty, when I was looking through their numbers, they're not the greatest rebounding team. And this Washington team is a pretty good rebounding team. Rebounding can be big, especially offensive rebounds, not being able to limit teams offensively. So if he doesn't play, you definitely want Jessica Shepard down there with Bridget Carlton and Alana Smith, in my opinion. Trying to keep Shakira Austin, who's been going crazy, Kiki Iriefin, Aaliyah Edwards, trying to keep those girls off the boards, in my opinion. Q Media says, what's good, Chris? Austin for the Mystics is playing lights out. I watched the Lynx struggle with the Sparks. I like Mystics first quarter, first half. Let me talk you off. So here's the thing, though, Q Media. You watched them struggle with the Sparks, right? First of all, they had just beat the Sparks by 30. Second, they didn't have Nafisa Collier. Third, they struggled with the Sparks and still end up winning the game and covering the spread, and they weren't even close. Like, I think the line was like 9.5. They ended up winning the game by like 17, 16. So, I mean, the Lynx got that ability to be able to turn it on. And the way that they shoot the three-point shot, that scares me in this type of game. I like the Mystics, trust me, but coming off an overtime game, I don't like them as much. They also at the rest disadvantage as well. So we'll see how it goes, though. James says Austin should have been starting over huge mama big mama stuff, James. I guess I think it's more so for floor spacing. Shakira can't shoot the ball like Big Mama Steph can. We got to remember, Big Mama Steph shot 40% from the three-point line. She led the WNBA in three-point shooting last season. Natalie says the Mystics ain't the Storm. That's a fact. They definitely not the Storm. Their offense is just so Jekyll and Hyde, man. I think another thing, just because you pointed this out, Natalie, one other thing I looked at, I'll just share this with you guys real quick, and then we'll get over to the next game. I think I was looking at the Mystics, because if you look at you can get caught in the sauce. Like, it's easy to get caught in the sauce with these teams, right? So, and what I mean when I say that is, like, you see the Mystics and you're like, okay, like, this team's not bad, and they're not, right? When they play against the Wings, they won by 3. They were favored by 6 when Dejanay got rolled out. They played the Dream. They almost won that game. They lost by 1. But then they beat the Sky, right? So 2-1 in their last 2 games. Before that, they lost to the Dream by 30. They beat the Sun by, what was that? They smoked the Sun. I feel like everybody should be able to smoke the Sun. Lost to the Liberty by 13. Lost to the Liberty by 8. Lost to the Fever by 5. Lost to the Fever by 9. Got smoked by the Liberty. So just a very inconsistent team when they're playing against good teams. I think what I had looked at was opponent win percentage. So when they playing against good teams, so opponent win percentage is greater than 60. Because, I mean, the Lynx lost 1 game all season. This is the best team in the WNBA. And when the Mystics are playing teams that have a 60% win percentage or better, they're 0-5 straight up. They have covered 2 of the 5 spreads so far, losing the games by about 6 points, which is right where this line is. And these games came against the Mercury, the Liberty, the Dream, and the Dream. So what I'm betting on is for them not to be able to stop those teams. And they've held just 2 of those opponents under their team total. The other ones have gone up and over. Dream got to 92 and 89. The Liberty got to 86 and 85. And then that first game, the Mercury, I think they were shorthanded in that game, only got to 68. So I'm just betting on the Lynx offense in this game. And I think that they absolutely can score the basketball against this Mystics 3-point defense. Let's see. FY says Minnesota covers late. I can see that. I hate sweating the whole game too. It sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. All right, let's push over to the next one. I know that this line has moved. I'll update it real quick. The Sparks will be in Chicago. This line is looks like consensus is back down to 5. So I know it had went up. I think I saw 6. Total has moved up, which I agree with. That's what I really wanted to bet. I wanted to bet the total up and over at 164.5. What I ended up betting was the team total for the Sparks, because I was going through the game and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I really want to take. So keep in mind, I said this at the beginning, but the injury report for this game has Odyssey Sims listed as out, which I kind of expected for her not to play. Cardosa will step away from the team, but she's playing in this game. And I think those are the only injury reports for this game specifically. All right, so if we get into what I had put in my notes, or let's just see. All right, let's see this first. Yeah, all right. So we did get the best of the number in this one. So all right, so we got a Sparks team that is playing their second straight road game. They've lost 3 in a row, and they haven't covered any of those games, but they did come against really good teams, right? You always got to go back and look at the teams. Something that we got to stress, right? It's not just that they're 0-3 straight up and against the spread. Who did they play against? So the Sparks just lost twice. 2 of those losses, lost 3 times. 2 of those losses came to Minnesota, best team in the WNBA record-wise, and then Seattle, probably the 3rd best team, 4th best team in the WNBA record-wise. Sparks are just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games, 5-9 against the spread on the season. I mean, but this is the Chicago Sky, though, right? Chicago's also lost 3 games in a row. They did cover versus Atlanta by 3 points. And this will be their 3rd game in 4 nights. Remember, they were at home against Phoenix, got smoked, had to go to Atlanta. And then yesterday was a travel day to get back home to play against the Sparks tomorrow. So Sparks also got the rest advantage in this spot. This is the second matchup of the season. The Sparks hung 79 points on Chicago at home earlier. When these 2 teams played, it was 91-79. And the Sparks were 4.5 point home favorites in that game. The game did go over 164.5 by 4.5 points, finished at 169. So where I went in this game was because I really debated whether I wanted Sparks minus 3.5 or I was going to take the Sparks team total. I ended up on the Sparks team total. I still kind of feel like the Sparks can win and cover. They're not a great defensive team, which is what scared me off. But I played team total up and over here. And what I put in my notes and I sent to the members was, even if Odyssey Sims is out, which she is now, this LA offense, I think, still should be able to score against Chicago's defense. When traveling from road to home, which the Chicago Sky are in this spot, they're allowing 87 points per game in their 4 times that they've had to travel from road to home. All at home in general, they've given up a ton of points to good offensive teams. The Liberty came in here, dropped 99. The Dallas Wings scored 92. Phoenix scored 107 just a couple of days ago. The Sparks have only been road favorites twice this season. They scored 84 points against the Golden State Valkyries. That was game number 1 of the season. And then they scored 93 against the Dallas Wings. And that was, I think, like 2 weeks ago. Their offense hasn't looked great in their last handful of games, but I do think that, they've been playing against really good defensive teams, right? The Minnesota Lynx twice and then the Seattle Storm, 2 of the better defensive teams. Chicago's opponents are 8-5 to their team total over when they play against the Chicago Sky. That's how bad this defense is. 3-2 to the over at home as well. So Chicago's not really stopping anybody. And then when I think about the way that the Sparks want to score the basketball, particularly from the 3-point line, I just don't think Chicago is going to be able to slow the team down. Don't really want to lay points with the Sparks. I do think that they can win and cover. What gives me a little bit of confidence in that is that the Sparks have only been road favorites twice this season. They're 2-0 straight up and against the spread. Like I said, wins came against the Valkyries, and then another one came against the Wings. Can't remember how many points they were laying against the Valkyries, but I know they were laying 2.5 against the Wings. They won that game by 14. On the other side, the Sky are just 1-3, both straight up and against the spread, traveling from road to home. They're allowing an average of 87 points per game. Only 5-8 on the season. Only 1-4 straight up and against the spread at the crib, losing by average of 15 points per game. All of their home losses this season have been by 7 points or more. So this should be a spot where the Sparks get right. And I'm not looking towards Chicago. Chicago is that bottom tier for me, man. Until they can do it consistently, I just don't trust them enough to have enough offense. It's a lot of like up and down, just like volatility and variance, too much variance for me when I think about like Ariel Atkins, who I love, but she's going to get you anywhere between 29 or 6. Same thing with Angel Reese. Angel Reese had 19 rebounds last night. She had 2 the night before. So I can't quite get there with Chicago. I think the Sparks bigs will be able to take advantage of Angel Reese and Cardoso as well. Derek Hamby, Ezra Stevens. And then from a player prop perspective, I didn't play this. I don't know if I played this or not. I don't think I played this, but it's on my short list. I want to go back over the Outlier really quickly and show you guys what I was looking at from a player prop perspective, because I do expect Miss Jackson to have a day in this one. So I like Rakia in this spot. I think her 3-point makes 1.5. Yeah. So you can see here, Rakia's been in good form, man. 2 threes, 3 threes, 4 threes, and 1 3 in her last 4 games. This came against Seattle, one of the better 3-point defensive teams in the WNBA right now. But even more so than the makes, I like the attempts, right? So you can see on the season, let's just go full season. So she missed these games right here for personal reasons. She came back. She's been shooting the ball, pretty well. 33% on the full season. If we just go last 5 games, she's shooting 34% as well. So we'll go back this full season. And more so than the makes, I like the attempts. Look at the attempts: 8, 5, 6, and 7. So if you're telling me Rakia is going to get 6 attempts, I think she's gonna be able to knock down 2. So I like Rakia jaXon over her 1.5 threes made. The Chicago teams allows the second highest opponent 3-point percentage in the league at 38.5%. We just saw the Phoenix Mercury almost hit 23s and score 100. They probably could have got to 120 points in that game in their last one. So I think Rakia is going to be the beneficiary of that. I like Rakia jaXon over her 1.5 3-point makes in this game. I think it's a very, very good look. And I think it's minus 106 on FanDuel as well. So you're not playing too much juice for it at all. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Chicago team, Sparks team total over though. I got 83.5, and it is up to 84.5. It's actually up to 85.5 on some books. You still can get an 84.5 on a couple books. I think they can score 87 points in this game, so I wouldn't be scared off of 84.5 either. Let's see. Sparks are trash, honestly, Chicago says. Okay. DK was sleeping on this one. Got LA money line plus 105. Where you get that at? Wow. Okay. Okay. Natalie says, I think the Sky win plus 5. They are slowly getting better and over 164. I think the offense is getting better. They still can't guard anybody though, which is why I like the Sparks to be able to win this game. Terry says the Sky had a bounce back game after getting whooped by the Mercury, lost in the fourth quarter to the Dream. Hard to repeat. It is. They gave a lot of energy late into that game. They played well actually against the Dream. I felt like they over exceeded expectations. The reason why I bet the Dream in the game, because at halftime the Sky was shooting 57%. I was like, Sky not a team that's going to continue to shoot the ball well. So I expect the Dream to be able to make some defensive adjustments at halftime, and they did. Specifically in the fourth quarter, I think the Sky had like single-digit points. They might have scored 9 points in the fourth quarter. Dirty Ray says Plum should eat. She should. I looked at her assists. I think it was 6.5 or like a super juice 5.5. But I think she should eat in this game for sure. Mark says don't trust either team to do me right. I trust the Sparks to score, and I trust the Sky not to get any stops. Mark, that's what I trust. James says Stevens could stretch those bigs out to the 3-point line. That's a fact. That could probably lead to a Cardoso under her rebound prop. I think when I was looking at if Cardoso ends up guarding her, if Angel Reese ends up guarding her, it could go under as well. The problem with that is because I looked into this earlier, the Sparks aren't a great rebounding team. Derek Hamby rebounds in this game could be something to look at as well. But yeah, I think Azaré has also been shooting about 2 or 3 threes per game because I looked into her 3-point prop as well. It was going to be either her or Rakia jaXon for me. And I like Rakia jaXon. Like I said, I haven't bet it yet, but I like Rakia jaXon in this one. Comedian says, if no Cardoso, I'm rocking with the Spark. Nah, Cardoso is playing. She is playing tomorrow. Matt says, just left the gym hooping. Let's get ready for tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully you got a nice hoop session there, man. Sparks money line. Cardoso is playing the game Yeah, she is playing. She is absolutely playing. What's the point in focusing Cardoso if she's leaving? I think they go away from her. She's been averaging 15 and 7. I mean, they need a win, though. They just need a win. They hadn't. The last time the Sky won was a win against the Connecticut Sun, right? Like a week ago, they smacked Connecticut. Then they lost to the Mystics. Then they had like a whole bunch of days off and lost to the Mercury. Then they just lost to Atlanta. So yeah, they won 1 game and they've lost 3 in a row. Both of these teams lost 3 in a row. Chicago says he thinks the Sky can win. I don't. I mean, I guess they can because I mean it's not like the Sparks are a great defensive team. That's why I'm not laying the points. I think it's going to be a high scoring game though. Yeah, fans are fans, man. As fans are fans, man. All right, let's move over to the next game. Fever and the Storm. How many games is it tomorrow? I just want to make sure. Is this the last one? I think it's the last one. Yeah, it's the last one. So this line is starting to move as well. It's interesting because yesterday I'm like on the way to the store, and I noticed that before the other games from yesterday even start, they got lines out for these games. So I'm like, oh, let me look and see where these lines are. So yesterday I screenshot this at 6:36, 6:33 actually. So other games had, it was like a break, I think, before the other game started. So 6:33 yesterday evening, Eastern Standard Time. I saw this line on DraftKings at Seattle plus 1.5. I didn't bet it yesterday because I hadn't looked into the spy, but the line had flipped to Seattle -1, and then minus 1.5. Now it's all the way up to 3. So actually 3.5. You can get a 3.5 on DraftKings, a 3. Or you can get a 3.5 on ESPN Bet, a 3, a 2.5. So just shop around for the best of the number. But it is not 1 anymore. It looks like consensus is 2.9. So we'll just go 3. And the total is 165.5. So that has stayed about the same. So the Fever will be without DeWanna Bonner. We know that already. I think Seattle should have everybody tomorrow as far as I'm aware of. This is a difficult game, man. I just bet the Fever, and they wet the bed, man. I bet on the Fever thinking that I was gonna get the team that that beat the New York Liberty that scored 102 points. The Aces are still not a good team in my opinion. I think Chelsea Gray, I know that they won the game yesterday. I think Chelsea Gray shot the ball very, very efficiently. I think she was like 6 for 8 from the field. Indiana's offense like really threw me for a loop yesterday, because if you guys had a chance to watch the game, they were running a lot of high pick and roll with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, as they always do. And they was having so much success doing it. Aaliyah Boston wasn't really passing the ball. She was just scoring it. I think she finished with like 22, 26 points. But the second half, when the Aces made the adjustment, they just started trapping Caitlin Clark. So she couldn't make that pass because it was a lot harder. They were trapping her with Asia Wilson, so she couldn't really see over the defender to make that pass at all. And Indiana didn't have a counter, and that's one of the reasons why I like Seattle in this game. I did bet Seattle. I bet Seattle -1. I think the difficult part is that Indiana is on a 3-game road trip, and they haven't won any of the games. Right? They've lost back-to-back games now. Remember, they lost to the Valkyries before losing to the Aces. And I thought because they lost to the Valkyries, they would take that Aces game really serious, and they couldn't get a win against the Aces. I think the Fever could still be a little fool's goal on the road. I don't really want to fade the Fever at home, but I think that they could be a little fool's goal on the road. They failed to cover 3 in a row. Their last home game, they were playing against Connecticut. I think they were big, 16.5 point, 17-point favorites. They ended up winning that game by like 15. And then on the other side, man, Seattle has just been a juggernaut. Second straight home game for them. They won 3 in a row. They've covered 3 in a row. They've actually won 6 of their last 7 games, and they've covered 5 of their last 6 as well. It's just not a team that I want to bet against right now. This is the first matchup of the season. Seattle did win 3 of the 4 matchups last season when these teams matched up. I look at the Fever, and I said this yesterday, as a road team, they haven't been as good as they've been at home this season. They're 0-2 straight up and against the spread when traveling from road to road. So anytime they've played a second straight road game, they haven't won yet this season. Seattle's been pretty good at home, 5-2 straight up, 4-3 against the number. And during this road trip for Indiana, their offense is taking a big step back. This is what I found when I was looking into the numbers. And if you watched the game yesterday, you could kind of see it, because Caitlin Clark is 1 for 17 from the 3-point line in her last 2 games. Her shot just has not been falling at all. After scoring 102 points against New York and 88 against Connecticut, both of those games were played at home. That was the first game Caitlin Clark came back, and in the second game, they scored 77 against the Valkyries and 81 against the Aces, staying under their team total in both of those games. Last 5 games, they're actually 9th in offensive rating and defensive rating. So you've seen a hit on the offensive and defensive end. They struggled to protect the basketball. A big reason why they lost yesterday was the points off turnovers. I think they turned the ball over north of 15 times to give up close to 20 points or more off of those turnovers yesterday. Just super silly, like just stupid, silly turnovers from not from Aaliyah Boston, but from Lexi Hall, but more so Caitlin Clark as well. Like she got to figure it out. She has not been great in the last couple games. So I think Seattle got enough in this game, man. Indy also struggles to protect the ball. Like I said, the 9th in turnover rate last 5 games. Seattle actually forces the 2nd most turnovers in the league. And Indy is also bottom half of the league in points allowed off of those turnovers. So Seattle is a team that likes to get out and run. Gabby Williams is having a career season. Nneka, Skylar Diggins-Smith has looked good. Erica Wheeler being in the starting rotation. Malunga coming off the bench. Like this is a Zaya Cook coming off the bench. Like this is a deep Seattle team. And even though they came out a little stagnant yesterday against a shorthanded New York team, they got the job done, ended up covering the spread, the full spread, like even after the line had changed as well. I think the other thing I thought about was, I talked about Indiana running that pick and roll with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. I feel like Seattle has the pieces to be able to limit that. Outside of Aaliyah Boston, outside of Asia Wilson, like the Aces that couldn't really, they don't really have the personnel to be able to slow, that type of offense down. But Seattle got Nneka down there, they got Ezzy down there, they got Malunga down there. I think they could really disrupt Indiana's offense. And Indy, like I said, their offense hasn't looked that great. So we'll see what happens. But I took Seattle here on the money line, thinking that they can keep it going at the crib here. And fading the Indiana Fever in this spot. So Seattle -1 or money line. I can't remember which one I played, but I played one of them. Let's see real quick. I probably played money line. Yeah, I played money line -115 on Bet365. And that line, I think, is gone now. It is. You can get Seattle -145 on Hard Rock, -150 on Bet365. So we did a pretty good job of getting the better of the number. We'll see if that actually means anything in this game. And of course, this is the game that I did parlay Skylar Diggins assist under 6.5 against this Indiana Fever defense. That's my thought process on this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking. And then we'll jump into a quick recap. JW says Sparks torture him in a step down spot for him. And I'm with you, JW. I know it's a lot of Chicago love. I get it. Sparks, I said it, but I don't think people don't care or they don't listen. But the Sparks are playing against, after playing against the Lynx twice in the Storm, now you get the Chicago defense. Boy. JW also likes the Storm -1. I like it as well. Chad got a better number than me. He got -105. Okay. Fever for Matt. Okay. Opposite side. Mark says he got -115 for Seattle. Nally says the Storm is the better team. -5 alternate spread for plus money here. Yeah. Okay. I just worry about the Fever. I know that they're gonna put all their cards in the middle of the deck. 3-game road trip. You don't want to go 0-3, and it could be a little bit of a letdown spot for Seattle. Seattle has won, a few games in a row now, and they still worry me a little bit at times, man. I'm very, very worried some of the Storm because I know that they can go out and absolutely wet the bed. They beat the Aces. They come back home. They take care of the Liberty. Everything is just kind of rolling. But, the last time we saw them play and they didn't look like themselves was a game in Golden State where, they couldn't even score the basketball. But nobody can really score the basketball in Golden State. So, I don't know, man. I'm on Seattle, though. I am on Seattle. James says Nneka and company get the best of Boston. I agree with that. Mark says I was also on Fever money line yesterday. Loser. Yeah, absolute loser. Fever learned from the Aces loss. Fever money line. So Matt, to this I would say you think the Storm and the Aces are comparables? Are they comps? I wouldn't say so. I don't think the Aces and the Storm. I don't think the Aces and Storm are comps at all. I think the Storm team got a lot more talent than the Aces team. When I look at the Aces team, I see an older, slower step Chelsea Gray. I see Asia Wilson, who's still an MVP candidate for sure. I see a Jackie Young who is still really, really good. I love Jackie Young. Outside of that, I mean, I love Nee. and she's definitely like starting to. You can tell, the wheels are starting to turn for Becky Hammon because she's giving her a lot more minutes, especially that 3-pointer she pulled up in Caitlin Clark's face. But outside of that, like, what you got there? What you got there, man? I don't see it with the Aces. Like, I know they lost. I mean, I know the Fever lost, but I wouldn't. I think the Storm got a lot more talent than the Aces right now. Just my 2 cents. James says Indy got bullied the last 2 games. They got physical with them. That's a fact. They did. Storm are the hottest team in the league right now. That's a fact. Says, is there any way to see betting splits on WNBA? Yeah, there absolutely are. Fever need high volume scoring, big wing guards like Orion Howard. That would help a lot. I like Lexi Hall though. That's the thing. But if the Fever aren't knocking down those 3-point shots, it can be bad. Like, they were winning the game yesterday at halftime by like 6, 7 points, 8 points. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, because I'm watching the game, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, the first quarter finished and I'm like, they should be up by like 7, but they were up by like 2 or 1. Let me just double check. Yeah, they were up by 1 yesterday. And then at halftime, they're winning by 6. And I'm like, they should be winning by 15. And the 3-point shot just wasn't falling. Not from Caitlin Clark, not from Lexi Hall, not from Sophie Cunningham. Like, they just, and Seattle is a really good 3-point defense. So, like I said, I just think that Seattle's going to be able to disrupt this Indiana Fever offense. Let's see real quick. Yeah, they shot 6 for 23 from the 3-point line, 26%. At home, I think they're shooting 40% closer to 40% from the 3-point line, or the Indiana Fever. Seattle's a tough place to play, man. Caitlin went 1 for 10 from the 3-point line. Kelsey Mitchell did hit 2 late. She finished 3 for 6. Lexi Hall only hit 1 or 2. Sophie Cunningham didn't do anything. She went 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. And Sydney Colson, she just don't do it for me either. I thought she was pretty terrible yesterday. She did finish with 4 assists, a rebound, and a steal, but I just saw her I felt like they were just going on her at will. Community says lean, Fever, Storm first quarter over, and Fever first half. I feel points will be scored. Boston should eat. I agree with that. I do agree. I think it's a little bit more of an over game because Seattle is actually one of the hottest offenses in the WNBA right now. Real quick, let's just put some numbers to it. I'll tell you guys. All right, so Seattle is, excuse me, Indiana 3rd in pace over the full season, and Seattle actually 2nd in pace over the last 5 games. So they're playing fast. 3rd in effective field goal percentage, 4th in offensive rating, 4th in net rating, 3rd in points per game scored, scoring 88 points per game, winning by average of 10 points in their last 5 games. Are the Seattle Storm, and the Indiana Fever losing by 1 point per game in their last 5 games, 81.2 to 82.6. is what they're giving up. Excuse me. Yeah, Indiana just don't do it for me. Like I said, now that I'm looking at the numbers again, I didn't write all this stuff down, but I was just going through it. Like, yeah, Seattle don't turn the ball over. Indiana don't force turnovers. Seattle scores a lot of points off turnovers. Indiana's been turning the ball over a lot. Seattle actually 2nd in fast break points for the full season, 1st in the last 5 games. Indiana bottom 3 in points given up in the fast break. Indiana giving up the most points in the paint over their last 5 games. Seattle scores the 2nd most. Like, it was just a lot of things that I was just like, wow, okay. Yeah, I do think Indiana's going to be able to score too, though. But Seattle's defense has been good. Sharon says Fever has gone under their team total when they play on the road this season. Offense just hasn't been as good. That's a fact. They're 4-1 to the under, I think, on the road so far this season. Nolly says the Storm goes stupid, dummy, crazy at the crib. They do. They absolutely do. What else y'all seeing here? Storm have no bench. I disagree with that, man. I think real quick, let's go look at this Storm bench real quick. I think, like, I like Malunga. I know she's only 19, but I like Malunga. I like Zaya Cook off the bench. I think I think Zaya Cook is decent off the bench. Who am I missing? I'm missing a guard. I feel like Alicia Clark. Alicia Clark is a defensive type player. They can knock down the 3-point shot if she gets open. They don't have the greatest bench. I agree with you. Lexi Brown, I don't feel like she's made her mark at all on the team. But Zaya Cook is a decent backup big, a decent backup. And then the other thing with this though, Matt, what I would kind of give you some pushback on is like who the Fever got on the bench, especially with DeWanna Bonner gone. Like they ain't got nobody come off the bench and have no impact in none of these games recently. I would argue that the Fever bench hasn't been good. Like Sophie ain't do nothing last game. Their bench combined for 2 points. Brianna Turner had 2 points. Sydney Colston had 0, and Sophie Cunningham had 0. And they played a collective 36 minutes. So, 38 minutes. Had 2 points. So, yeah, I don't think they got a bench either. So, that would be my point there. I think that'll be it. That will be it. Who's better, Storm or Mercury? That's a good question, Dirty Rig. What they playing? What a game gonna be played at? Who got the rest advantage? Who got revenge? That could be a really good playoff series, man. Really, really good playoff series, especially with ChrisBeCappinn coming back. I don't even know who I would give it to, honestly. I probably get an edge to Phoenix. But I like Seattle at the beginning of the season. I like their season win total over. They just they scream inconsistency. Most of the time it's on the road though, which is why I played them at the crib in this spot. Like I said, they've been good at home at the crib, 5-2 straight up. So yeah, those are the picks for today. I did. Let's see. So this is everything that I played, and what I didn't play yet is in red. I will be on Enrique. I'm taking Enrique under. I'll see if the number moves when Dejanay is officially ruled out, because I would like this number a little bit more if Dejanay was going to be in. Enrique going to be jacking if Dejanay don't play tomorrow against Atlanta. But yeah, I really want to take her under her points. Rakia Jackson, I'm probably going to bet her over the 1.5 threes as well. Chicago 3-point defense. We talked about it. It's atrocious. First parlay of the season. Skylar Diggins-Smith under her 6.5 assists and Atlanta money line. I did play Seattle on the money line. Minnesota team total over for me, and Sparks team total over as well. So those are the ways I'm gonna try to get paid tomorrow, man. Hopefully you guys find some ways to get paid as well. Let me know what it is that you're betting in the chat. You want the official looks when I send them out. The link is in the description. As always, the resources are as well. Remember, jaXon likes the over. jaXon likes the over between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm tomorrow. Over 166, but you can get a 165.5. So, best of luck, man, on whatever it is that you guys are betting. Catch you guys. I don't think we got WNBA on Wednesday. So, whenever we got more WNBA, I'll be back, man. Do me a favor, hit the like button for me on the way out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.